Hello, my name is Jose Fuentes. Welcome to this video tutorial where I will show you how to analyze the quality of your requirements. This is a System Quality Analyzer, and this is the tool that I'm going to use to automatize the measurement of quality in your requirements. With System Quality Analyzer, SQA, you can connect to different requirements repositories. You can have requirements on DOORS, PTC, Excel, visual requirements, RQA, and some other requirements management formats or requirements management tools. In this particular example, I will use requirements in IBM DOORS. However, most of what you are going to see in this demo is exactly the same in other formats or like PTC, Excel, or others. So creating a connection to DOORS is pretty straightforward. You just provide the name of your connection, your credentials, the server name, and then you pick one of your projects in here. And once the connection is already created, you just double click on it, and then the tool will be connecting to this server and connecting to this project, right? So double click. This is just the list of modules in this DOORS project. So I pick just one of the modules for this demo. And the tool is retrieving all the requirements in this particular module. This module is a very small one with just 46 requirements. And the first thing that you can see here is that SQA has already analyzed the quality of this for this document, and all the requirements in the document has been ranked as 1 star, 2 stars, or 3 stars, according to 3 different criteria for correctness, consistency, and completeness. For this particular example, I just move the mouse over one of my requirements, and then I find that there is no auxiliary verb for this requirement. This is just a TBD. It is too short, of course. There is no action. If I go to other requirements, in this case, the tool is detecting the use of should instead of shall. It is important to mention that you as a user in SQA, you can tailor what are the rules that you want to follow. In my particular case, I normally want requirements using shall and never should. However, you can customize this rule as you wish, and in the same way, you can customize all the different rules that you can find in SQA. So this requirement has been ranked as a low quality requirement because there is no shall, there is a should instead. The tool is using passive voice and is using vague adverb such as fast. So these are all the issues that has been detected. Of course, if you just want to check the details, I just double click on it. And then the tool shows me what are the rules that has been analyzed. These are all the rules that has been analyzed. Most of them are okay. However, I have 4 issues. And just by clicking on the issue here on the right hand side, the tool is highlighting where the defect is in my requirement. Of course, if you fix the defect in the requirement, you can still save back in DOORS, and all the changes will be stored automatically in DOORS or Excel or whatever requirements management system you are using, right? In this case, I will say cancel, but of course, as I said, you can save on it. What you can see with this is that, of course, the number of rules that I have analyzed could be tailored according to your needs. So if I go now to the quality assurance option here, then I can find 4 different metric baselines. Baseline for us in SQA is a kind of set of rules. So if I open yellow belt, normally the progression in terms of maturity of the different set of rules, we like to name it following martial arts belt. So white belt for the beginner block or the beginner set of rules, yellow belt, orange belt, and so on and so forth. So in this particular case, as you can see, I have only enabled 14 rules, and these are the 14 rules that the tool will be using for the quality analysis. So you can enable and disable rules in a very quick manner. You just enable, disable your rules, or you can add many other rules. The tool is plenty of rules, both parameterized rules or rules that doesn't need any parameterization. Just as a matter of example of those enabled rules in this particular configuration, let me show you that I am looking for an action in every of my requirements. I'm not willing what I call anti-pattern, something like there shall be. I believe that this is a forbidden structure for my requirement, so I have created a rule to detect this kind of formulation for your requirements. I don't want to find conditional terms in my requirements. I will always force an imperative, a shall. I don't like passive voice in my requirements. I don't like pronouns, incorrect spelling. With regards to the text length, it is an interesting rule, because most of the rules, if I click on the other rules, most of the rules are what we call binary rules. Something can happen or cannot happen. However, for the text length, the quality function here is slightly different, and it's a little bit more complicated one. But in this case, the tool is saying between 3 to 25, the length in words is okay for my requirement. Less than 3, it is difficult to convey a message or to write a requirement in less than 3 words. And over 26, from 26 to 40, the quality is medium, and from 40 on, the quality is poor quality for this metric, right? The rest of rules that I have included, I want my requirements to follow a specific set of patterns, and the patterns that I want to follow can be tailored and customized in here. In this right-hand side of the screen, you can set up what are the different types of requirements or different types of patterns that you want your requirements to follow. So I want system functions, I want interfaces, I want XBS or PBS, let's say, product return structure, or physical properties. These are the kind of some examples of the kind of requirements that I want to follow in my document. So I have created patterns for all these types, and these patterns will be checked against my requirements. I want my requirements to, for those requirements dealing with the physical structure of my system, I want to check the information from the requirement with information from an external ontology to check that they are compliant. I want to avoid imprecise quantifiers, something like close to a specific number, or very high or very low, or something that cannot be measured easily. I want to avoid vague adverbs, vague adjectives, and open-ended clauses, something like to be confirmed, or something like etc., or so on, and so on and so forth. Sorry for this open-ended sentence. So these are the rules that I have implemented in the correctness dimension. So we in SQA, we can analyze metrics in 3 different dimensions: correctness for the quality of individual requirements, while consistency and completeness for sets of requirements. So in terms of consistency, I have just included some few metrics for checking the use of measurement units, or checking the use of or the actual values for the properties, as you will see later. And in terms of completeness, I have included several rules to check the information as extracted from my requirements with information coming from an external ontology, either managed in our tool System Knowledge Manager, or managed in Protege or other ontology management tools or dictionary management tools, or even in a CSML or UML diagram. So these are the rules that I have set up for my document. If I move to the second block, here is where you can say, okay, for my first module, I want to use the yellow belt, while for the second module, I want to use the white belt, or whatever, right? So you can assign different set of rules to the different types of requirements. And once I open the details for my document, then you can see that the tool is ready to analyze using the yellow belt, as was defined on the 5th of March 2018. The tool is capable of analyzing and storing the quality in our own database, in the SQA database. However, because of this check here, the tool will be storing the results of the quality assessment also in DOORS, and the tool is enabling a trigger in DOORS capable of providing an inline quality analysis, meaning that there is no need to open our plugin on DOORS just to see a column, an attribute with the results of the quality checking. And this is the attribute I want to use. You can filter out different elements in the DOORS module. You can say, okay, I don't want to analyze comments, or I don't want to analyze headings in my document. So you can establish a filter either based on one of your attributes and one condition, or based on a specific view in DOORS, right? So if I go out and I click back here, since I have changed the set of rules to be analyzed for my document, then the tool is emptying the results of the quality checking. So I have to proceed again. As you will see, for these 46 requirements, the analysis is pretty fast. Indeed, most of the analysis is done, and most of the time now is devoted to store the results back in DOORS, right? So we have it. This is real time. More things to show. For instance, the quality evolution. This is a brand new feature in the current version of our tool. This allows you to see what has been the evolution in terms of quality for this document. So up to this version, we just were capable of showing and managing the current status in terms of quality for my document. But now you can store different snapshots representing what has been the evolution of the quality in your documents for correctness or for completeness, for the 3 different dimensions, right? You can also check what are the quality from the other point of view, which is the metrics. So when you click on here, you see the list of requirements, and you can see what is the overall quality analyzed for these requirements. When you click here, what you see is the list of metrics. So now the tool is telling me, okay, you have 60% of your requirements are high quality, 23 are medium quality, and 15 are poor quality. So you can see all your 14 rules, the ones that I have enabled for this document. You can check what is the most frequent mistake, and in my case is abusing of imprecise quantifiers, and what are the metrics or the issues that I have never failed in. So these are the 4 ones that I have never failed. So all the requirements are high quality for this metric. If you just sort in here, then you can open. So this was the worst, the most frequent mistake. So you just double click, and then you can see what are the requirements for this particular metric. So these are the 5 requirements with poor quality for this metric. Or if you want to check what are actually the keywords that has been detected by the tool, because this is a very basic rule. We can implement pretty complex and advanced rules, but in this case it is just a kind of keyword spotting, where we will be looking for this kind of forbidden keywords in your requirements. So the tool is telling you what are the 5 items that has been included in your document, and if you just double click in one of these, then we can show the details. And of course, this is an awful requirement, something like very flexible. So you can click on your metric, and the tool will be highlighting in red here, and even vague adjectives here, flexible, and again passive voice. And so these are all the issues. And as I mentioned before, if you just fix this defect, you can save back in DOORS, right? So this is SQA. Now, in order to keep improving the quality of my requirements, let me show you how we can proceed with this quality checking, but in real time. So what we do now is I'm opening DOORS. This is DOORS 9.4 in this case. Okay, so I provide my credentials. No. Okay. So let me open the very same document. So this is my project with the 2 documents. So I open my document. as I mentioned, we have a plugin for this IBM DOORS. This plugin is called Requirements Authoring Tool or Rich Authoring Tool. So whenever you install the RAT, a new menu will appear here, and a new menu will appear here as well, right? In addition to that, the tool SQA has been creating a quality view where we have just added 3 more columns, including what is the result of the quality check-in in green, high quality, medium or low in red, the actual date when the quality was analyzed, and the summary, which is exactly the same as when I was moving my mouse over the stars in SQA, and the tool was showing some defects. So these are the same defects, but now represented in DOORS, so that you can use this in your DOORS views or in your reporting in DOORS and so on and so forth, right? So as I mentioned, we have included, I have ticked the option of creating a trigger in DOORS. So that means that I can even create a requirement in the very same way as I normally do in DOORS. So I create a requirement without showing the user interface for the authoring tool. But now this trigger will be analyzing the quality of whatever new or edited requirement in my document. So if I write something like the train should weigh about 400,000 kilo, then as soon as you exit this requirement, the trigger is analyzing the quality of the requirement. And the authoring tool is telling me, okay, the quality for this requirement is low, because there is no main action. I have included a should and not a shall. The quantifier about is a very imprecise quantifier. So these are all the issues. And of course, now if you just edit with the authoring tool, then you can fix all your defects. Again, the defects are now highlighted in the tool, so I can say something like shall wait, and I can remove the about. And now you can see I'm not following the specific pattern that I have created for this kind of requirement, but you can see that now the quality is improving, and now it is not red in here anymore, right? So you can also say from here, and the requirement is indoors now with medium quality. Of course, you can create a new requirement and say something like the train shall have 6 doors, and as soon as you exit, the tool is telling you, okay, the quality is high for this requirement. Right, so this has been done with the feature that we call Inline Quality Assessment, which is analyzing the quality even without having to open the RAT interface. However, I can create my requirement now following the interface from scratch. So normally our customers, they like to customize the tool in this way. So I want to write a new requirement. So the tool is providing a text box for me to write my requirement first, and second, this sidebar here showing you what are the defects. In my particular case, the tool, even if this is an empty requirement, yet the tool is telling me, okay, there are 3 defects. There is no action, there is no shall, and it is too short. So as soon as you keep typing, so the train shall have 8 wheels. Now you can see that the tool is telling you, okay, this requirement is okay, right? I can change and show you the way of typing requirement and now following a set of specific patterns. So now I want to create a new requirement. So I pick one of the different types of requirements that appear in my database. So I have included this number of different types of requirements in a requirement taxonomy. This taxonomy can be tailored by you as you wish. So I pick my type, and normally for each type there will be one, probably two buttons. So I pick one of the patterns, and then here when you move the mouse over the pattern, you can see what is the name of the pattern, the description, some examples, and mainly what is the structure. So the tool will be asking for a property name, preposition, article, and then the name of the system element to be contextualized with this property, then modal verb, shall, be, and then a number, and then a measurement unit, right? So if you want the tool to help you with information coming from the dictionaries, then you have to enable the writing assistance. And you can also see what are the quality tabs. So now you can see that I can start typing there, and the tool is showing you a number of different options in here. All these options are coming from our control vocabulary, from our dictionary, and these are the entries in our dictionary fitting with the first item in the pattern, as I was showing you before. So the first item here in blue is the property and physical characteristic, because the other one, maximum and minimum, are optional. This is the color for optional. So property and physical characteristic. So these are the properties and physical characteristics in my database, right? So now let me type weight, and then as soon as you just type the W, there's only one property starting with W, so you can just press the tab key. So the weight of the train. So again, the weight of my train shall be, well, it could be something like 400,000 pounds, right? So as soon as you type this, you have seen that this frame turns green, meaning it is not only that the correctness side is okay, but also the structure is okay. So I have to be happy because everything is okay. However, probably this requirement could be in conflict with other requirements in my document. So let me maximize the tool and open the, let me just show the quality tabs in here. And then this is correctness, all the requirements are okay, all the metrics and rules are okay. But if I go to consistency, then I can analyze the consistency screen here, the metrics, and then the tool is showing some defects. First one is I'm using pounds where other requirements are using kilograms. So this is telling me something like, okay, please agree on one type of measurement units for the weight. In this particular case, I will use the international system, kilogram, also part of the dictionary, so this is why it is suggested by the tool. And then, unlike the correctness rules that are analyzed on every keystroke, consistency is a little bit more time consuming, so it requires you to force the analysis whenever you want to check the consistency of your requirement. So now the tool is telling me that, wow, there are even other requirements using pound. Okay, I will fix it later. But if I go a little bit beyond, then I can see that there is another issue here. So the tool is using a dictionary and an ontology, and this ontology there is a concept called train, and for the train there is a property called weight. In this ontology, the weight range is between 500 tons to 600 tons. So I said just 400,000 kilograms, so this is too little. So let me just change into 550,000 kilograms. And if I just analyze again, then at least for this particular property, the capacity is okay because it is within the range. So I can click on save, and the tool is storing my requirement here, right? So this was an example of consistency. Let me now just show another example of another metric, but now in the completeness dimension. So if I go to completeness, then I can find that there are some metrics here, and one of the metrics I have prepared is just to check. I want the power consumption of one specific branch of my train, of my ontology, to have. I want for all the items in this branch, I want the power consumption. So whenever the tool detects at least one item missing, then the tool will say something is wrong with this metric. So if you just go to the details, then this is a very small branch, only 5 items. So out of these 5 items, 4 of them are already done for the power consumption, but one is missing. So if I just click here, then I can see that the element which is missing is the air conditioning system, while for the others, the tool has been capable of representing what was the power consumption for the fan blade, for the compressor, for the heater. So if I want to create a new requirement just to complete with the power consumption of this branch, then I just go to DOORS again, and I create a new requirement in DOORS. We have enabled some sort of shortcut so that I just click on, in my case it's Ctrl-A, in your case it could be whatever. So just to open the authoring tool, so I pick the second of my examples, of my pattern, sorry, just to show you other ways of writing the same type of requirement. So I start typing my requirement. There, I just try to follow what is the structure in my pattern. So all these items are part of my dictionary, representing a system or system element, a name. So, and the one that was missing was the air conditioning. So the air conditioning system. Now the second block is representing the properties according to my pattern. So the air conditioning system power consumption shall not exceed, let's say, 1 kilowatts. Probably this is too little, but just as a matter of example. So similarly to what happened before, this green frame is meaning the correctness side is okay, and this is meaning and this requirement is fitting with this pattern. But let me check what happened with the consistency rules now. I execute consistency again, and then what I have is this requirement is not contributing to any of these three items here, but is contributing to the counterpart. I created a rule for checking the power consumption from the completeness point of view, the one I was showing you before in SQA, but also I wanted to check the consistency for this power consumption, and something is wrong here. The tool is representing this 1 kilowatt, and the tool is telling me, wow, something is wrong. You have to do something like, you have to go over 1.23. Why does the authoring tool know that I have to increase the power consumption for this system? It is pretty easy. I have written different requirements for stating what is the power consumption for the different elements in this small branch. So the tool collected the power consumption for the heater, the power consumption for the fan. In some particular cases, the tool represents or knows that according to the ontology, to the system ontology, there are 3 fan blades. So the power consumption for one blade is this. So it is capable of multiplying this and getting this amount of watt for my 3 times 400. So it makes 1.2, and if you sum up all these values, then the value is 1.23, right? So in my case, I said that the power consumption for the entire air conditioning system has to be 1 kilowatt, so it is too little, right? So of course, the issue could be probably in the fan blade. This is too much probably, but in my case, just to keep it simple, let me just change what is the power consumption for the air conditioning system. So I reanalyze consistency again for my requirement, and then I can see that everything is okay. Everything, there are no issues in here, right? And of course, I can end by saving my requirement in DOORS, and this is my requirement, right? So that's all I wanted to show you. Thank you very much, and please stay tuned for more video tutorials on how to improve the quality of your requirements. Thank you. Goodbye.